Welcome back to the Four Podmen, which is, of course, sponsored by Wrestlemania, your one-stop shop for all of your pro wrestling merchandise needs. And in particular, on this eve, Bad Bunny t-shirts are now in stock and they are shipping all across the country. If you want a hat like the TMT hat that your beautiful host, I'm the co-host, is wearing right now, all you need to do is send him a message on Instagram and Twitter, and guess what? Bad Bunny t-shirt right at your door. 3 days. Done. Boom. Tell them how they can get it, big man.
Just hit us up on Instagram with a message. They're absolutely hopping out the door at the moment.
Oh, fuck you, pal. Fuck you. Fuck that Bad Bunny.
Anyway, gentlemen.
Bad Bunny t-shirts coming to a place near you right now.
With a free sipper cup. So let's move on. Night 2, lads. Joe, kick us off with night 2.
Night 2, Randy Orton versus The Fiend. Look,
Beautiful match.
I talked about last week how I was really looking forward to this because the two boys let themselves down a couple of years ago with the match they had. And unfortunately, they produced muck again. Look, yeah. The lads, like when they did their moves, they looked fine, that kind of crack. The one big thing I took out of this was if Alexa Bliss has any ideas of going to Hollywood, she has not hurt her ambitions in any way if that's what she wants to do, because she was brilliant, I thought. Look, this match was bad. They buried Bray Wyatt once again. Can't understand it. You talked about it last week, Niall, about build it. How many times can they ask you to go back to the well?
What can you do with them?
Yeah, to back this guy. You know what I mean? Like, they just, every big feud he's in, he loses. It makes no sense. Look, the whole entrance I thought was really well done. Reincarnated, reinvigorated Fiend. I hated. I was just so annoyed at this. Also, seeing the door on the back of the box when Alexa walked down, I was just like, well, that's a fucking big giveaway. Like, what the hell have they shown us that for? But look, it was bad. It was a bad match. The finish was terrible. I was so annoyed that they once again buried Bray Wyatt. As you said, Niall, there's only so many times you can go back to the well with this guy. I'm just pissed off about it. The best thing about it was Alexa Bliss and the Fiend's entrance. That's it. The rest of it was crap. I didn't enjoy it.
Go ahead, Ian.
I thought the best part about the match was actually Randy Orton's gear. I love the white on all Randy.
Jeez, he looked great breaking those corners, didn't he?
Oh, good Lord, he looked beautiful, baby. Beautiful. You look, as Pat Patterson would say, oh my God, he wanted the white shirt, he got the shirt on, he got it beautiful. Oh my God, Gorilla. Oh, look at his penis in those shorts. It's beautiful. we know Lord Alfred loved that. No, I thought it was, I agree with everything Joe said. Like, I thought Randy looked great. I loved how Randy was carrying a bit of pudding. And it's funny because a few people noticed that Randy looked like he'd enjoyed a couple of beers over that weekend. You know what I mean? It's like he's ready for that 3-month break. Randy can just go off into the sunset now. Very surprised by the ending too, I have to say. I didn't think Randy was going to get put over.
Apparently that was a late change. Apparently that was one of the very late changes in the weekend.
And that's kind of where, and I'll pass it over to you, Jay, on this. After that, you all know that Randy's my boy, you know what I mean? Randy is my guy, and I was very happy that Randy won it when I was watching it in the moment. I was like, go on, Randy. But then I was kind of like, that was just me being a fanboy. It was a very, very surprising. I agree with what Joe said as well. The whole thing with Alexa Bliss, all the shit coming out of her face and all. Look, it was very 1980s horror right up.
I was looking for Papa Shango in the audience.
I've
seen this school before. I've seen this school before.
Do you know what, Jay? I'm not actually just saying this to you. It was my first thought. It was like, this is Warrior Papa Shango shit. And I thought it was I didn't expect that now, but we did dream, I suppose, last week, and we said we would hope that we would get a match with normal lighting and stuff like that. I think the boys did what they could do in this kind of setting. But yeah, I mean, Randy Orton could have taken this loss because of everything that he'd done. He burned a man alive.
He doesn't have to win.
Threatened to burn the girl. He can go off for 3 months now and come back as a title contender. We all know this. He can go back as Randy Orton, the title contender.
And Randy's at his best with unfinished business.
Absolutely. And like as I said, the only reason I pointed out, I'm certainly not fat shaming Randy Orton. I'm saying that Randy Orton looked like he had a few beers over that weekend and he was carrying a bit of extra. He didn't care about the 6-pack that night, is all I'm saying. And you know what I mean.
It's worked a treat for Jericho in the past, so it's not a problem.
But there you go. And yeah, so I mean, like I'm with Joe as well. I'm kind of baffled at it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm baffled. Jay, try and put some context and some if you can put some sense on it.
When you get this is somebody at the back trying to be way too fucking clever for a medium which doesn't expect that level of cerebral. We don't understand. If you're going to present a match at Mania, we expect one thing: a start, a middle, and a finish.
Yeah.
And it needs to make sense to us.
Yeah.
If you're going to tell a story, have a fucking full stop at the end of it.
Yeah.
Don't offer up what this fucking shit wall of confusion was.
Yes.
Let us work with your product. Let us understand it. Don't make us feel stupid after it. Randy could have lost that. Now, I don't understand why. Look, we already know my opinions on the fucking eatery gimmicks. And again, they've thrown a curveball. Why does he no sell the fucking suplex onto the bleeding desk and then get smashed by an RKO in the ring while he's slightly distracted? This whole thing seems to me and feels to me like a set centerpiece for Alexa. Like I said, she's been removed from her division to allow the division to breed. Yeah. And rightly so. We've seen the benefits of it over these 2 nights. Fair enough. Grand. She was the fucking golden girl down there when, ladies' belts were debated globally as to whether or not they were contested as seriously as the men's. Grand. Whip her out of that. Let the division she was in breed. Put her into this and make her the centerpiece of a Mania situation where 2 men's careers. One, you can't damage Randy Orton at this stage. He's a franchise. He is the company man. It doesn't matter. You could have him lose 10 times in 12 days and he would still go away, sleep it off, and come back in 6 months' time and be the man who can take out anybody.
He is the Wayne Gretzky. He is the Wayne Gretzky of that company at this moment. You know what I mean?
He's the ace in the sleeve.
Yeah.
If you're ever in trouble, Randy, call him. And be like, yeah, okay, fuck it. I was on 6 weeks sabbatical, but you know what? Come in, I'll do what I have to do for your company and your ratings. But I want 6 more weeks off after I come back. You're fine, Randy. You're grand. You're an all-star player. You can't hurt him. You can't damage the Randy Orton franchise, and he works best when he has unfinished business with a man. I mean, you could have took him out of the way program, put him into something else, and then have him in a 1.5 years time sitting there in the backstage on a couch thinking about, I'm not happy with the way that fucking Mania went. One more time, the demon, or forgive me, the era gimmicks, and then they could have gone back into a proper wrestling. I wanted it to be a proper wrestling match. I know I talked last week on our speculation it was going to be a squash match. It was a squash match of sorts, but it went the wrong way. Why is Alexa distracting the Fiend from what should have been his match? He brought her down. He hopped out of the box. Why is he losing? My end game on this is I don't understand what happened.
No,
I don't know.
Can I say something based on what you said there? It's 100%. Everything you said there is 100% true. Randy Orton, because it wouldn't have been a squash match if Randy Orton had just got, say, the claw and passed out to the claw, or had got the what's that finisher that he calls it? The fucking where he kisses you on the forehead.
Oh, Sister Abigail.
Sister Abigail. If he had done that as well, it wouldn't have been because the elements were against him. Randy Orton can't see. He's in red lighting here. Like he's out of his element. This isn't, it's payback. Randy can go 3 months away. That gimmick that whole rivalry can just fade away into the sunset where it should be.
Yeah, unfinished business. And leave that over there.
And Jay, you made a great point at the start there, and I think we should pretty much end it on this really and move on to the actual fucking. Oh, we can pass it to Joe. No, that's no problem. Well, my last point will be though, like, I think there should have been a full stop on this on that night. Do you know what I mean? Because WrestleMania is usually the night where feuds end, and then we're on to the next season, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's a new season. There we go. The playoffs are finished. Yep. There's a champion. There's this. There's that, and then we move on. So I don't know. I can't understand.
Well, why did Alexa make the Fiend the baby face at the end of it? He was distracted.
That's it. Are they trying to? All right, Joe. What do you think?
Well, look, what I would have done if it was me now, and obviously, who the fuck is going to listen to me, really?
Well, you're better than John Laurinaitis.
I am
saying so, and I'm listening.
Look, they obviously wanted to keep Randy strong, right? You can tell Yeah. He got pretty much, he got 80% of the offense in that match, right? What you could have done was you could have had him hit the RKO, and I know he keeps it hugely protected, but he could have hit that. Then you could have had the fire. You could have had Alexa Bliss sitting there, him distracted. Bam, Sister Abigail, game over.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt Randy. Doesn't hurt him.
It doesn't hurt Randy at all.
No.
And it also keeps the RKO strong because he hits it. She can sit there and she can kind of almost beckon the Fiend to get up off the ground. You remember she was sticking her hand out as if she was beckoning towards her. She could have done something like that, like get up, and he jumps up and bam. It made absolutely no sense that Randy Orton won that match.
Nothing.
Fucking no sense whatsoever.
I was,
really annoyed by it. Really annoyed.
You're not wrong, and I'm just after thinking there, right? We had this new unique situation in pro wrestling. If they want to go with the cinema whatever it is,
cinematography,
in our face, right? Cinematic. Thank you.
Cinema shite.
But no, we had an aspect here where we could have done a psychological job on Randy Orton, right? We had this big motherfucking box move down and do right? What I would have done is allowed the Fiend to go over, one, to keep a product who you've promised for the last 6 to 7 years is a contender. When every time he eats a new gimmick, he just bums out.
Yeah.
I would have had 3 men of the same physical stature and size cut. And I know the internet rumors are a thing whether, that's not Bray, that's Bo in
Dallas, yeah.
I'd have fucking ran with that. I'd have click. Hey, boss, see this shit? Yeah, you know what we're going to do with this? Put 3 men in the exact same costume in the box, feed them in under the ring. As soon as the lights drop them up, have 1-1-1 come in, bash Randy, just fucking loads of Fiends, get it all cerebral, supernatural. How's this guy Phantom moving all over the ring? Then put them back under the ring, get them back into the box, and have the one Fiend standing over him after the pin. 1, 2, 3. And what just happened there? We've seen 3 Fiends in the ring, which is the real one. What's happening? Randy didn't get beat by 1 man. He got beat by 4 in this kind of switcheroo situation. I was like, now this is visual fucking chicanery. This is Chase the Ace, which is the real one. Which one do I RKO? I only have 1 finishing move, but there's 3 Fiends in the ring with me, and they're all battering me. Drop the lights again. Bring them up. 1, 2, 3. Send the fucking box away. Leave the Fiend strong with chicanery, with fucking shenanigans. Leave us. What just happened? Leave Sister Abigail. I resurrected many Fiends to defeat you. Let her be the totem on the top of the pole. Let her be his power, as opposed to distracting him towards the end of the match. It made no psychological sense the way he finished it. If it's to be this horror story,
you know what?
Silly.
I watched a movie last night that Jay will probably appreciate, being an old 80s horror fan. I watched an old movie called Maniac Cop, right?
I fucking love Maniac Cop. Best leather jacket in the police psycho killer business.
Without a shadow of a doubt, right? And it's the same level of logic in what this, but at least in this little 1 hour, 20-minute movie, whatever it is, there's a narrative and there's an ending. Do you know what I mean? And this is essentially what WWE are trying to sell us movies now. And by that logic, they're trying to give us a start, a middle, and a finish, right? And whether that's over the course of 6 months, or whether it's over the course of 3 months, or whether it's over the course of one match for 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever the hell it is, there's got to be an ending that makes sense. This one didn't make sense. Noel, I know you wanted to chime in on that because I know you're a big fan of that, but
I suppose the problem with Bray Wyatt and The Fiend is, you know, through every sort of gimmick he's rocked, we've never had the ending. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And you know, when you hear what Jay had to say there, you know, this is a lad who's probably walking through the curtain every night after a match going, I really missed the Nexus. You know what I mean? So, like,
remember when it was over?
Yeah, remember when we were cool?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just, you know,
Fuck it, John Cena.
I can't. When Jay was talking about extra lads coming out and hitting the ring and stuff like that, I straight away thought those black shirts with those yellow ends and the Nexus. That's all I was thinking, and I was just thinking, I don't think they're ever going to give us an ending on this guy. To me, this guy is in creative jail. And I don't think he's breaking out anytime soon.
I think, yeah.
The shirt says Death Row, and that's what it is.
Can we move along from this?
Yeah, let's move on. Joe, kick us off. Riddle versus Sheamus.
Last week I said this match will be fine.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. I loved this match.
It was
absolutely loved it. I was completely wrong about this match. I thought it would just be they get in, they do a few bits. As I said, oh, it'd be a decent Raw or SmackDown match. This match was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. They
classic flow wrestling.
Yeah, they bet the piss out of each other. They had a couple of small botches that you can't deny that. But
Sheamus without it.
Pardon?
No, I'm not joking.
No. There was the jackhammer one because he didn't get him up the first time, and then Sheamus slipped off the top rope.
That's what I said. It wouldn't be Sheamus without one.
All right, sorry. but honestly, even with those couple of botches in it, I love this match. That finish was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just the way he came out, and he absolutely even when they slowed it down, you can see
to the mouth.
Yeah, you could just see how perfect that kick was. It was
beautiful.
I love this match.
It was.
I love this match, start to finish. Fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Brilliant.
I think Sheamus has upped his game in the last 3 months, I have to say.
Since he came back from that little injury.
Yeah, I think he's
a different Shamo.
He had that little rub, obviously, with Drew, where they had the best friends fight kind of deal. And I have to say I've been very, very impressed with Sheamus on the last for the first time in 20 years. I've been really impressed with his consistency, is what I mean.
Yeah, there's a bit of depth to him now, isn't he?
That's what I mean.
Remember backstage when he attacked Riddle, when he picked up the scooter and he goes,
that was deadly.
You oiled up the wheels and all, and you did all this, and then absolutely mangalizes him with it. Like
that was
deadly. He's feeding you in and then feeds you back out, and it's just.
You know what that was? That was classic. Every single one of us can relate to school corridor, secondary school, between classes, bullying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Give a look at that. Oh, what the
They break the arm off your Hasbro, and you're like, you and me in the yard at 1 o'clock, bitch.
Yeah, the gullibility of fucking that goon who won't wear knee pads. He's too naked in the ring for me. I'm sorry, he just looks like one Jim out of his
I'm with you, Jay. I don't like it either. He's like a stoned Von Erich.
Yeah. There's an enjoyable sort of feeling comes over you when he's getting the piss beat out of him.
There is, because I've been waiting for this all episode, and now I'm getting it, and I'm real happy about it. And I know I'm petty about this, but look at you, I'm still happy. But I am going to interject here, right? What struck me immediately be one of the big botches was the end, the top turnbuckle jobby, when they were about, I don't know whether it was the two particularly sweaty males or it was the humidity in the arena, or there might have been a bit of light breeze around drizzle. But immediately when he got him up on that top turnbuckle and he was struggling to hoist him properly, I immediately thought, this is a bad thing.
Yes.
And the fact that he showed the maturity of a professional to hop down and do it off the ground as opposed to attempt it up top, I just thought a younger man would have tried that because that's on the script and somebody could have died. And the fact that he just nailed him when he hopped down, did what he had to on the fucking canvas, then hopped up and came out with a flying knee to finish it. I'm like, that's shades of 80s. You know what I mean?
Well,
When a
he's
big man goes up,
starting to fit in with the great cabaret wrestlers of the world. He is. He's getting there. You know, he's almost on the level of Phil Boyds.
We try.
He's almost on the level of the Phil Boyds. Shout out to Phil Boyd, my brother.
Fuck yes, absolutely.
No, I'm teasing here, but no, I agree. I do.
There's only one Cabra Cobra.
I'm very proud of I'm proud of Sheamus in that match and the two boys in that sense. There was a lot of stuff, and I'm really kind of happy to see kind of, like I say, his career has always been stop start. Yeah, he's always there. Does that make sense? I don't mean his career is stop start.
Well, they read out his accolades in the company during that match, and it was like, Jesus Christ, you've got some storied history in that company, son.
But that's it. Like,
fair play. I'm proud.
No, I'm proud as well, and that's what I'm saying. And in fairness, like, you know, I know Sheamus, and the last time we did speak, I was on good terms, so I am proud of him. I know I am, legitimately. I mean that.
Oh no, we know that. We know you're a heel.
But what I'm really proud of with Sheamus is that he's kind of, you know, he's grown this time round. I believe what he's doing. Does that make sense? Like there's
a maturity to it.
Very much so.
Like I said, getting off the top turnbuckle instead of trying it while the man was in a bad position and killing him, getting down off the turnbuckle, dropping the move on the fucking canvas, and then going up and dropping a knee because we were promised a flying ginger finish.
But you know what it is as well? It's like the intensity that he brings now as well. Like, he can take as good as he gets. I mean, he could always take as good as he gets, but I think it's just a believability in the man.
Believable. It's believable. It's a brawler.
Yeah, he's a brawler, and like he's a big fucking savage Irish redhead. You know, it used to be just fella, and there was always a bit of a mess. Yeah. You know, a bit of a kind of a, I don't know, Noel, you know what I mean, don't you? Like a little bit of a.
Yeah. But I love even when they interview him backstage, like, and the hair's everywhere and the beard's everywhere, and he's absolutely glazed up, dripping in sweat, and it's kind of like, what do you mean? You know, going to
like, I know.
Very believable.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
There's a roughness to it now.
He's got that intensity now. I mean, he's got that kind of Triple H-esque intensity to what he's delivering now, and I think, and you know, everyone knows I'm the biggest Triple H fan, so and I actually mean that nowadays, believe it or not. So I've been watching Triple H matches non-stop. That's the truth. I've been watching Triple H matches non-stop over WrestleMania weekend. And,
I mean that now since part 1.
This is Dick Flair, the dirtiest talker in the business. Don't listen to any other shit I said.
And if you want Bad Bunny merchandise, go to Wrestlemania right now. No,
we don't need to be talking about Randy Rabbit right now. We're talking about Shamo.
No, Shamo, in fairness, was definitely he's definitely improved. Honest to God, I was really impressed with the last match that he had. I know it's off subject. Really impressed with the last match he had with Drew. And I said, I think there's something there in that lit a trigger up his arse. And I know how competitive the guy is. And I know that would be
what it is. He's and there's nobody left to impress. And now he's being himself.
Well, Sheamus will be looking, and I can guarantee you this, if there's one thing I can guarantee, he will be looking at where Drew has gone to and saying, I should be at that fucking level of fandom. Do you know what I mean? And I guarantee he's thinking of ways, how do I get there? But maybe I need to be the heel version of that. Do you know what I mean? And I would say with Sheamus, I would say watch this space in the next year or two. In terms of heel level, because I definitely think if he keeps going the way he is, I think he could start putting himself up into that kind of main event tier where it's not just for a day or two. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it could be.
Yeah, listen.
Distant.
When you've won every belt that the company has, you can just get on with being yourself and being a pro wrestler. And isn't that what we love about superstars?
Exactly. That's it. Because his accolades are there. We know that the championships aren't of the same ilk as, like, say, Macho Man Randy Savage or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a different time, different era. You know, a lot of wrestlers have held the belt X amount of
And he
time.
took one off Cena.
But that's what I'm saying, though. No, but that's what I'm saying. Took one off Cena, but yet at the same time,
So I'm not
sometimes
disagreeing with you. You're
the
right.
title
You're
wins don't
absolutely
seem
right.
to mean as much nowadays because they go with a guy, then they don't. Then they go with a guy, then they don't.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that I think Sheamus is now really posing the question to the people on top and saying, right, you can see my work.
Still
here.
happy to be working.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah.
Also, there's a new roughhouse style WWE has been introduced in the last year or two, which particularly suits men like Sheamus and Drew and Bobby. Like, we're seeing heavyweights again. These are big boys punching the fucking chops of each other. Nobody needs to be insecurity and shit or fucking Hurricane and shit. You don't have. Here, listen. If you ain't Sean, don't be Sean. If you ain't fucking Chris, don't be Chris. If you ain't Dynamite, don't be Dynamite. You be you. And let's make stars. Let's go forward. Let's get these triple disc fucking DVDs out. Be yourself. Enjoy your career.
It's kind of a Fifth Finley kind of ilk to it, isn't there?
Yes. That's a great point, Noel. That's exactly. Do you know what?
Work your strengths.
You sir,
ignore your
on the money.
weaknesses.
Yeah. No, Noel's on the money with that comparison there. He's got that Fifth Finley grit, like, outside the ring, I doubt he's as tough as Fifth, but that's
well, nobody is.
Nobody is.
Joe,
and I doubt he likes seeing people get beat up as much as Fifth,
including Harley. Fiffy Harley, my money's on Fifth.
No, that's not happening. No.
Watch yourself.
No, that's.
We're passing this over. Forgive us.
Joe,
go ahead.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with Logan Paul.
Look, these boys, when they get together, they create nothing but magic. They've been wrestling each other for God knows how long now. But they've known each other 15 years. They've probably been wrestling each other for that length of time. They're just brilliant. The Logan Paul thing, thankfully, as I was hoping for last week.
He did what your man was supposed to do,
yeah. Yeah, I just hoped he wouldn't be involved really, and he wasn't. He just sat there quietly. I thought for a minute they were going to put a fucking microphone on him to be part of commentary. I was there, please don't do it. And they didn't. So he literally just sat there and he clapped and looked shocked. And
if you're looking for your Logan Paul t-shirts, go.
But on this match, the line of the night has to go to JBL when he said, I wrote it down. I was that impressed. He goes, as sure as we are on God's flat earth, there is a conspiracy against Sami Zayn. I thought that was brilliant.
I'm glad you said that, Joe. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I didn't even cop that.
It's during, he says it during Sami Zayn's entrance. I was in.
As sure as we're on God's flat earth.
Yeah, there's a conspiracy against Sami Zayn. I love it. But look,
brilliant.
those two guys together when they're in the ring, or even away from the ring on the mic, they can do no wrong together. They are brilliant. And
what do you think of that gimmick, Joe? Do you think that's cool? Like the whole gimmick and the story and the narrative that they were telling, that like Owens is actually like, dude, I know we've had our differences, but I'm trying to help you here. You're going too deep. Yeah.
No, I loved it. I as I said, they create magic together. I loved it from start to finish. Loved that match. Some of the bumps were very snug looking. You know what I mean? Like, where they dropped each other.
Winced. Yeah.
They dropped each other.
Isn't that how we like it?
Yeah, they dropped each other very close to their necks, but at the same time, safe as houses. When you really looked at it, you could see it was safe as houses. But some of them you kind of went, oh, that was very close for my liking. You did
always those two motherfuckers. Like, they are two guys that the doctor is going to have serious conversations with when they're like in their mid to late 50s for sure.
Well, look, a brain buster on the apron is just lunacy.
It's madness. Madness.
And yes, as I said, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Absolutely loved that match. I thought it was brilliant, start to finish.
Me
fantastic.
too.
And Logan Paul getting the stunner was all right. It was predictable. You knew it was going to happen.
But can I say one thing though to Logan Paul, and I actually commend Logan Paul as well, because I mean, he has had legitimate look, regardless, and I've always said this, and Jay will back me up on this, and Noel will too. I'm sure you all will. It takes balls. It takes balls to get into a ring in a boxing environment, and he has got in a ring in a boxing environment and actually hit people and fucking won fights. You know what I mean? Regardless of who they are. And for him to actually kind of be kind of professional enough and actually take the stunner and make Owens, because he made Owens look like the badass. And even 5 minutes later, when Owens was still celebrating doing a Stone Cold thing, yeah, Logan Paul was still fucking selling the chin, going, "What happened?" I noticed that he was, when the refs were picking him out of the ring, Logan Paul was like, "What happened?" And I I commend Logan Paul on that, and I never thought I'd be commending any of the Paul brothers, but there you go. Little apples have fallen, and it's just a pity that the other little skinny fella wearing the top, which you can go to Wrestlemania Messing, which you can find at Wrestlemania on Instagram or Twitter. Bad Bunny, baby.
Right beside the Logan
skinny
Paul tops.
Oh, we're getting Logan Paul tops, especially when Jake Paul wins tomorrow night against Ben Askren. We're getting them all in.
We get real confused with these two folks. We don't know who.
So Logan is the guy that's a little bit more quiet and not as fucking mouthy. He was meant to have a bit of an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather. And then the other fella, Jake Paul, he's the one fighting Ben Askren, and he's the one that is calling out Conor McGregor and all the legitimate fighters all the time. So the guy that was at WrestleMania, he's kind of nicer one. And,
okay.
And Sami Zayn is the guy with the long hair.
Sami Zayn
for me, I'm from. We actually had a pause on my phone right there, man. So I lost about a minute, about 30 seconds of conversation.
That's okay.
The match was fucking perfect. But it's the two Logan Paul brothers I'm confused. Or the Sean and Logan. Is there two of them?
It's two of them.
Go
back and watch the episode and you'll find out.
I will. I'll have to. I just had a pause there on it.
We can't do it for the fans. No,
who are these folks? No,
he's the nice guy. He's the nice guy that was.
Who's the decent one, and who's the asshole?
The asshole is the one fighting Ben Askren. He's the one calling McGregor and all that.
Okay. So I'm glad I got to watch the nice one because I'm not going to watch the Askren shit.
No, he was the nice.
Fuck about that.
He was the nice one, yeah. So
okay,
there you go.
So where are we? Oh, match wise.
Yeah.
How delightful was that? I'm probably out of leap with just here a second. Give me one.
No, you're not.
No, that was fucking glorious. That was glorious. If there was one match, I always think in my head, remember when Warrior wore the pants means much more than this?
Yeah. Because
it was him and Macho, and Hogan didn't really want to dice wider him, and it was career versus not my career. We always look for the means much more than this match in every WrestleMania. And that was the means much more than this match for me. It was sublime. It was exquisite. It was pro wrestling. It's like, you know what? We're not going over. There's no belts on. Nobody gives a fuck about us. Let's show them what this sport can be when people who want to watch it are given it. Oh.
But can I also add as well that it was like, I love the narrative about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn who've had such a big fallout and never really kind of made amends after that fallout. You know what I mean? And it's Kevin Owens basically saying, look, dude, you're gone down a fucking weird rabbit hole here of conspiracy theory, which is kind of shown the way the world is at the moment, that you can go too far. You know, you can have like a basis of reality, but then you can just take it and fucking burrow yourself under the ground. And I think that was a really, really great narrative, I thought. And I thought it was very, very, very...
no, absolutely. It was two men who've been working with each other all their fucking careers.
Yeah.
From the get-go. And you could see that. I mean, there was a chemistry there that you can't forge and you can't production center. Do you know what I mean? We've traveled the world doing this. We are the dance. This is why you watch. But there was a second level to it. The amount of high impact moves in that match, would have killed most men 10 years ago in any given match. I mean, they were dropping finishers like they were confetti. It was just...
And usually we'd give out about that, wouldn't we? But with these two, they
Usually
seem to
we
get a
would.
pass.
But this was an exhibition.
Yeah.
This was like means much more than this. You want to pro wrestle? This is how you do it well when you can do it right.
Yeah.
And nobody do it.
It was really... Go ahead, Joe.
No, please.
I was going to say it's a match we've seen 100 times and we've loved every one of them.
Yes, I agree.
That's how I described it. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I just wanted to say with what Jay was saying there, that the moves they were doing would have finished men, years ago. And Ian, you said we would have been given out about it usually, but they weren't hitting their finishers. They weren't false finishes.
Yes.
They were just big moves. And that's the difference. They were hitting big moves. They weren't hitting, Kevin Owens didn't have to hit 3 or 4 stunners to get the excitement level up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of crap. He only hit the one. Boom, done.
That's a great point, Joe.
You know what I mean? They did hit big moves, but they didn't hit their finishers 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. The finish was the full stop. A physical story. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was fucking like I as I said, these guys create magic when they're around each other. As I said, backstage or in the ring, they're just brilliant. And once again, the only thing I was worried about with this match before it happened was that I would build it up too much in my head, and it wouldn't live up to expectation.
And you also thought that your man Paul was going to get involved.
I was worried about that too, but it didn't matter. Like, I could have built this match up in my head for weeks, and it still would have surpassed the expectation. It still would have surpassed, because the two of them are absolutely brilliant together.
Doesn't it show you when you have real chemistry with someone, what you can do just at the click of a finger?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These boys, I guarantee you,
they were inside each other seconds.
Oh, damn straight. When they were sitting at catering, I would say it was more a conversation about how they were going to get the narrative across of how the differences of opinion they were having with the conspiracy lunatic and the lad trying to save his friend kind of deal. Do you know what I mean? Rather than what's actually going on.
Yeah.
I'd say Owens is like, so as far as the moves in the ring want to go, yeah, we'll just go as normal. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean?
I'd say the two boys didn't even discuss it. They just looked at each other and said, we're going to rock out here.
They called it in the ring, man.
Yeah.
They called it in the ring. You know when people are calling it in the ring, and it's very obvious.
Oh, yeah, listen, I'm going to tie this into a later story as well, but this is why you fire people who can't do the job at the time, at the place when it matters. So they can go learn with everybody else, and you can get in there, and it's just, like I said, means much more than this. It was a fucking joy to watch that match. They allowed their charisma to come through. I mean, I'd watch Sammy all day of the week. I'm not a big KO fan, but watching him in there with somebody who breathes the same seconds as him,
I think KO
means much more than this.
I think KO is absolute world championship material. I think he's fucking phenomenal.
I'm not disagreeing.
I think he's naturally the best. Oh no, I'm not even debating you here on this, Jay, because I agree with you with Sammy as well. But I think Kevin Owens is at that level where I do believe that he is world championship level. I think he's the best natural promo probably in the company, one of them anyway. He's definitely in the top 3.
He talks
natural
easy.
Promo where he can just
talks easy.
You know what I mean?
He talks easy. Yeah, no, he stole the early promo show as well when they were hot promoing people.
Yeah,
he stole the show.
He's CM Punk with a bit of weight on him. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
There's a vintage to those Ring of Honor boys, isn't there?
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely,
Look,
Noel. Absolutely.
The world, and when they're given an audience, the fucking meshes.
Fight, Steen, fight.
So
bring us to the next level, Noel.
Moving on to that, Ian, take us through the Nigerian drum fight.
I'm going for a piss.
Very disappointed that I didn't get my Akeem entrance, and I hope nobody takes offense to that, because they shouldn't. You know what I mean? It's watch last week's episode, what we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, it was decent. Do you know what I mean? It was decent. You know, it can't be not decent with the levels of talent that are in the ring. You know what I mean? And I would like to see where it goes next. You know what I mean? Because I do honestly believe that these, again, I just mentioned Kevin Owens being not everyone can be a main event level superstar in a world championship level. A lot of them can, but they have to separate, somehow so that not everyone can have a belt. Yeah, I mean, I think it was very interesting. I was very surprised at the finish. Were you guys surprised? I was.
I was annoyed at the finish.
Yeah, okay, Joe. Why don't you take that then? Yeah.
I think they should have just had a clear winner. Don't think there was any. I don't think a run-in was necessary.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think the match. I think the two, as you said, Ian, the two guys in it were too good to warrant a run-in. That's personally look. I just think, and he came out of nowhere, like he wasn't around before, and no one knew who he was. You could almost feel the kind of wind go out of the stadium. It was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like things were going well until he turned up. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because as you said, Ian, the two of them are two good wrestlers. It was always going to be a decent match. Yeah. What my favorite part of it was at the very start when the bell rang, the two of them ran for weapons. I loved that. Yeah. Because you so seldom see it. They usually have a bit of a wrestle and a jostle and all this, and then one of them eventually, goes for a weapon. But the two of them just rolled straight out. Bam,
but it makes sense though, didn't it?
Oh, completely.
Because it's like, right, well, if you're getting a weapon, I'm getting a fucking weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you punch someone in the face when there's a fucking stick next to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly the went for.
And it's kind of not something you'd associate with Big E directly normally. So
exactly.
Exactly, Noel. Yeah. That's a great point.
And speaking of Big E, a big shout out to his ring gear, defeating America, the charity gear that he was wearing. I know he has it was the Tampa Bay branch. He was really, but that's his.
Yeah, no, it was. I noticed that as well, Joe. Yeah. I thought that was pretty awesome too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. He had it on the jacket and his gear. I thought that was,
I loved. They didn't make anything too political on the show. Do you know what I mean? But they made they done it for charities, charitable stuff, and I thought that was really cool. Because Vince being a fucking Republican himself wouldn't have too much fucking political shit on the show. To be fair, but I think allowing little things like that, I think make all the difference. Yeah, no, I think that's cool.
And, I think sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'll follow you on. Go ahead, bro.
Look. It was. I really enjoyed the match. As I said, the only thing I want, and also the other thing I hated was that the champion came out first. That really boils my piss. I fucking hate that. The champ should always come out second.
I agree with that. I mean, that's an unwritten. Well, it is a written rule, but it's also an unwritten rule. I think that should always be the case. I think with Big E, I think it's the case. Like I worry about Big E. Is he going to be stuck in that limbo? Because he's got that comedic value as well.
I fucking hope not, because he's fantastic.
But that's what I'm worried about, because we talked about Sheamus, because Sheamus was stuck doing comedy stuff with Cesaro and stuff as well, right? But he has that legitimacy about him. And I worry about Big E now and thinking, because let's be realistic, we're talking about history repeating itself. Is Big E going to be one of those guys that's kind of stuck in that kind of, he's nearly there, and then, every year we'll kind of tease it, but then we don't pull the trigger? I don't know. I think
I do, yes.
But the only thing is though, Jay, then we look at, so we have our lists, right? So there's two belts. There used to be one. Imagine how difficult it was back in the day, but now imagine how more difficult it is with the amount of people that you have on your rosters, right? So you've got two belts. You've got one on Roman Reigns. You've got the other now,
which isn't going anywhere for the next
Bobby Lashley, and nor should it. And you've got one on Bobby Lashley, which isn't going anywhere, nor should it. So we can sit there and we can talk about Bob. We can talk about, Big E Langston. We can talk about,
that's wrestling logic.
We can talk.
What about Vince logic?
We can but we can talk about whoever we want. But realistically, there is a group of people that are in that fold that can take belts and then lose them back. Edge is in that picture. Randy Orton is going to be in that picture when he comes back, hence why they're going to send him away. He's going to come back and he's eventually going to break Cena and Ric Flair's record. We've talked about this on the show before. That's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Inevitable.
So that's where my fears come for the likes of the Big E's of the world. Are they going to be given a shot? Like, are they going to be given the here's your token belt for a month and then sayonara, kid? It's kind of like Rey Mysterio when he got it because of the Eddie passing and stuff like that. Got the moment in the spotlight, and and rightly so. And then it happened to obviously Big E's partner with Kofi as well. You know what I mean? So that's all. Am I asking the right questions, lads? You think that's fair?
Yeah.
In every example that you've put forward, you know what the company has done to us. Tested us to our last string of patience.
Mm-hmm.
The work, I've said this before, the work used to be between two men in the ring, and that was it. Now the work is between the company and us as the fans, and the men in the ring are just the chess pieces. Kofi, or not Kofi, forgive me, Big E just dropped this fucking, what was that, IC?
Yeah,
IC was on him?
The worst looking IC strap, yeah.
I disagree.
I don't like it.
It is what it is. I think it's a beautiful belt. It harks back to the, but he
I knew you'd like that.
They're going to use Big E against us. It's the company versus us, not the business, not the man versus the man. I didn't enjoy the match, but I think going forward, Big E has stepped up from the IC category. Now he's into the next wave of shit, and we've got a year's worth of booking in front of us before we can even see him near top. And they're gonna tease, and his last and final push, they'll put it on him. Why? Because he fucking deserves it. We all know he deserves it. He's earned it. He has deserved it. He has all of the factors you want in a heavyweight champ. He's physically impressive. He's vocally impressive.
Athletic.
He's athletic. He's charismatic. And we have already said to the company, we want him.
He's our
Chime in on this because I know you're a big fan.
Yeah, he's kind of like on the cusp, like kind of what we spoke about with Sheamus, isn't it? Where we're starting to get a few more layers.
Yeah.
And I think probably the company want to peel back a few more layers outside of the comedy stuff and see if there's something a bit more deeper there.
We haven't had sorry, forgive me.
No, go ahead,
we haven't had a comedy heavyweight champ in how long? Ever?
Well, we should.
He has layers, and Noel is right. Forgive me, I just noticed none of
that. Well, Cena had elements, didn't he?
No, he was never funny. He's always a shy bag.
Oh, I think Cena had elements of comedy.
No, he got there. He got there.
I think we knew all along they weren't going to switch Cena the other way, though. It was just
exactly.
It was the era of merchandise and PG and all that kind of things. I think now, they're looking for characters. I mean, you could see it in. I mean, we're going to get on to talk about Rhea Ripley shortly and all. You could see it in. They want characters now that have certain layers to them, and they're trying to bring out those layers in those characters.
Yes.
And it's, they can't have their world heavyweight champion running down to the ring throwing pancakes at fans. That just does not work.
It doesn't.
And they've done it. You see what they've done with Roman Reigns. You see what they've done with Drew McIntyre. You see what they've done with Bobby Lashley. They're just peeling back the skin off the oranges all the time to show you this deeper character persona, if you want to call it, that they have. And it's in most cases it's very, very impressive.
True.
Can we just add as well, have you seen a man of his size run the ropes the way Shawn Michaels used to run the ropes before? Holy shit.
Animal.
Oh, sorry. Actually, no, because Shawn Michaels was a bit more recent. You remember the WrestleMania 11, for anyone that had the pleasure to remember that, against Diesel? The best rope running I've ever seen in any match.
And I'm just talking about the fella Big E's kind of size running ropes.
But animal. Big E's size, it's definitely animal. I'd agree.
Yeah,
Also, that motherfucker who was a beast. ECW WWE version. Was it Corvon? Oh, what you call him? He used to do that side running fucking shoulder block. He'd crisscross the ropes at you and come in from the other side and hit you like a train.
Monty Brown.
Monty fucking Brown. Quick to look
that's
after his
another good
family.
That's true.
He was a savage.
What a finisher. The Pounce.
Oh,
Pounce.
Pounce. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And he used to go,
very believable.
the
Knock you out of
Pounce.
reality. Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is I love seeing those big boys that can run those ropes, not afraid to fall into them, thinking that they're going to fall out with a ring. Do you know what I mean? And I love seeing that. So, sorry, lads.
Yeah.
But no, there is. The problem with Big E now is everybody wants him to be the champ tomorrow. The simple fact is, there's 5 years of New Day layers to be peeled off him. Like if you were to put him into the ring with Bobby Lashley tomorrow, he's going over. There's no question about it. He's already got the seal of approval. The company's happy with everything he does. Just look at the New Day's last 5 years. But if you were to put him into the ring with Bobby Lashley tomorrow, who would you put your money on?
Bobby Lashley every day. And I believe Bobby Lashley. That's the thing. I don't believe in. I can understand exactly.
It's no doubt in Big E. Big E's the man. Big E's going over. He's going over.
We can understand it. We can understand.
He has to be somebody you can put the big belt around.
It'll take time for us to step out of the pancake era.
Absolutely, Noel. Absolutely, Noel. Really because it is.
And
true.
he just dropped his IC belt, and he needs to drop New Day as well. And it'll take 2 to 3 years before that man's wearing gold. But put fucking money on it. It's happening.
Oh, it will eventually happen. It was like the Farouk syndrome, and that never happened with Farouk. Do you know what I mean? It should have happened long before the Rock. Long before the Rock became a thing. The Farouk. I remember even Bret Hart said that at the time when he was around. He was holding the belt. He goes, "I suggested to Vince that we should have got it on Farouk. Farouk should have held the belt." You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can say the same of Butch Reed in '86. Like it's
no, I understand.
It takes time to process a man.
Yeah. Well,
you've got to show the company you're forever before the company says, okay.
Well, now you see they're corporate now, so there's certain things that they. Fucking TNA!
Sure they call them
God damn it! God damn it, Joe!
I remember he was running with Ariel and the fucking vampire cunt and the Pope, and I loved that clique back then. Remember that ECW clique? They had this little cabal of vampires. It was like, where are they vampires? They're all great wrestlers.
It was like Kevin Thorne.
Kevin fucking Thorne.
And Ariel. He was the manager. Yeah.
Kevin Thorne, Ariel, Marcus Corvon, and
Mordecai.
Mordecai, yeah. That was the original NXT.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Joe. Take us. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley.
Look, last week I was really looking forward to this match.
Was it as good as the one?
It was fucking fantastic. I was not disappointed. I loved this match. Both performers were fantastic. Rhea is more badass than her namesake Ellen, which is something I didn't think I'd ever say. Because Ellen Ripley, as everyone knows, one of the most badass females ever fucking grace the screen. And the only thing I'd say about that is if I was Rhea Ripley, I wouldn't have worn so much metal into the ring.
Dave, you could hear the clacking, couldn't you?
I was there, Jesus Christ. And the ones on her leg, the chains on her leg were all breaking and falling off.
Yeah.
And I was just like, geez,
that Deontay Wilder moment. This is way too heavy.
Definitely, yeah.
So but that match, like, I'm just being a bollocks there. That match was
fucking pedant.
that match was stellar, start to finish. The pair of them are absolute stars. You know, you're drawn to both of them in their own different way. You know what I mean? Rhea is very kind of staunch. She just stands there and you're drawn to her. Asuka has to dance around a bit and kind of to grab your attention when someone like that is standing in the ring with her. But the two of them,
I love Asuka's lunacy though.
Did anybody notice the sympathy that Asuka was able to gain during that? I felt that as well. There was elements of it, old kind of Ricky Morton, Bret Hart. I won't mention the hot dog to Jay, but there was elements of There
Sure,
was
you can
elements.
get a cheer all night. What are you talking about?
That's what it is. No. But I felt there was elements of that. There was elements of that there where I think Asuka was doing her kind of sympathy gain in such a subtle way, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I thought she knew what she was doing, but she done it in such a great way. And I thought Ripley got herself over as such a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? Like, and done it in a way where she wanted you to know that she was a bitch. You know what I mean? Fucking awesome, man.
Rhea's a megastar. Asuka, as we know, is already a megastar. You know, like they were just phenomenal. Like the two women's singles matches over the 2 nights, absolute show stealers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which one was better?
Oh Jesus, that is a tough one. No, I'm not even going to answer that.
Different.
I know
for
mine.
both
I know mine
reasons.
hands down. I know mine hands down.
Go on.
Different for
There's
both
no
reasons.
gradings in this show, as we know. There's no gradings because we're not, fucking big buff 60-year-old men taking steroids, fucking sucking.
Speak for yourself, brother.
Oh, are we talking about Dave Meltzer right now? Oh God, sorry, Jay. We I gotta tell you. I would say I'm giving it to Sasha and Bianca for sure. And I'm not saying by a landslide, but I mean, if I was grading it, I would give it by like a double. I really do believe that match was just a little bit better. That's all. But that does not mean that this match was fucking savage. And it's a different story, of course, being told too. So
Jesus, I genuinely would, Ian. I'd have to watch them back to back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To try and pick them. But the two of them were stellar matches. Like, all 4 of those women.
Why would you choose?
In fairness, though, Joe, I suppose for me, I watched like them 3. I watched them like twice, back, and I was trying to like say which not that. And Jay made a great point earlier, and this is something that us cavemen are going to have to get out of our brain. And I'm speaking for myself here. That like you can't be comparing it. Oh, which female match was better and which men's match was better. So I don't mean to come across in that way.
No, that's the way we're indoctrinated.
Yeah,
that's the way the world has us.
Exactly.
And we are cocooning and evolving and doing our best. It's not.
I'm trying to just, I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and like, I mean, I think those 2 women's matches were, better than most of the lads' matches.
Right to finish the nights.
Yeah.
For one reason, wrestling.
Absolutely.
Fair, forgive me, fair.
I think the one thing we said on our Royal Rumble episode when we reviewed it is that both girls did a stellar job in the Rumble, and that we would hope that the road to WrestleMania would deliver the payoffs, and boy, did it deliver the payoffs.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I think, what did you think, Noel, actually?
And were we right, though, in fairness? Were we not right?
We were spot on. I can't really decide because you kind of have the emotion of Bianca Belair.
No, I just meant on that match itself. I meant,
but then I mean, in Rhea Ripley, you see again, all episode we've been talking about the layers, and you started to see the layers of Rhea Ripley coming through.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
Jesus.
Asuka,
she became a bitch, didn't she? Like, in a good, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
She can do what she wants. She can do what she wants.
And if you're going to rock that 80s style Mad Max look to be on the Thunderdome Tina Turner, you're not going to be a babyface. You're going to be a heel, and there's no doubt about it.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing to see. I've such a crush on that girl, and I don't know why. I mean, I know she's about 7 foot, and I'm not even getting.
She's a magnificent female specimen. This is not in doubt, but it's not only that. She's so fucking young. Yeah, that girl is 24.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
No, man, there might be another podcast in this, but I want to make a point. For years, we've been indoctrinated into this fucking chauvinistic, masculine world of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing something now that isn't happening in male pro wrestling. In male pro wrestling, men are fighting for the spotlight. But it seems to me in women's pro wrestling, they're fighting for all of them to have the spotlight who get.
Do you know elevated. What that is, Jay? Can I actually chime in there, because you made a great point that I thought about the other day. So for women's pro wrestling, okay, it's very realistically. All right, I know it's always been around, but it was always just in drabs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, it's only the
Yeah.
last 5 years it stepped
Yeah.
up.
So let's be real about that. So it's only the last 5 to 6 years, let's say, where it's been so
Sorry.
common.
Oh, give me a second. Knockout division. He's right. TNA is right.
Oh yeah, so in
I got you,
TNA, yeah.
Joe.
But on
I'm not even your tag partner, but I got
but
you,
on a
Joe.
large scale, is what we're saying.
Yeah,
On a
yeah.
large scale.
Look, the girl Kims and the fucking.
Yeah. Oh, listen, dude. There was some Mickey James, fucking Trish
Yeah,
Stratus.
but the
Eventually
payoff
learned.
is now. The payoff
Yeah,
is now.
eventually learned. But Joe, what the point that I made before you come in there is I'm saying that it was always just in drips and drabs. There was little sprinkles here and there. Oh, we'll give them this and we'll give them that. Do you know what I mean? Oh,
within WWE, because as Jay said, TNA have always taken the women's division very seriously.
No, I understand that, and that's what I'm saying. Like we're not talking about like we're just talking about the big company here because it is WrestleMania.
Look, we're not all disagreeing. We're
So let me finish the point that I was making there, and then because again I do agree. I mean, Sherry is one of my favorite female. Sherry's actually forget about this. Actually, Sherry is one of my favorite workers ever. Period. Man, woman, or fucking child. You know what I mean? She's one of my favorites. But what I'm saying on your point, Jay, about the way for the women now, it's because there's a certain element with the women, right? There's a certain group. There's enough contenders there, but not too much. There's not overload where they're competitive again.
There's a camaraderie and
exactly.
brotherhood.
So it's almost like going back to Wrestling 101 when it was starting in its very infancy.
Yeah.
They're like, right, we can take this now and fucking run with it.
Yeah, let's fuck those men up.
Yeah. So it's like a new sport.
Give me that.
It's like a new sport. And that's where you see the realism, because the women are actually feeling that they have to work harder than the men just to get noticed. All right. So there's always going to be that stigma. And B, they're going to be different types of matches. And it's fucking beautiful. So it's like wrestling reborn through the women. So you've got the old carny kind of stuff, and it's been reinvented through the ladies. And that's why
they laughed at the men all weekend. Both of their finishes.
Exactly. And that's my view on that. And I don't know if anyone agrees with me on that, but I think that's the way I feel.
All do. I think we all do.
I think that's how I feel. And guess what? I'm all fucking for it.
But this is like I'm saying, there's fucking dualities, dichotomies, and juxtapositions. I mean, on night one, you've got the two young girls running, locking horns, like we did at the start of the night with the two men, and they fucking smashed it out of the park.
Yeah.
And then you got night two, you got the veteran versus the 24-year-old veteran. She's the female Shawn Michaels. She can do what she fucking wants once you put something in front of her. I mean, as soon as I stopped realizing that I was watching ladies crown the night and got me pride out of the way and start watching the work, look, it was sloppy at times, and there was bits I would have liked to have been more impactful, but I'm a Warrior fan. What the fuck do I know? It was a fucking great match. It was. Both of the ladies' matches at the end of the nights show me that it's no longer sex industry, and I don't mean that in the bad way. I mean that in the good way. I mean, wrestling is wrestling, and if we let the product thrive, this is a shit we can.
But I don't know where you're coming from, Jay, by saying some of them sloppy. Those two matches I thought were stellar.
There was times, Joe, where I felt like they were working with each other. And
I don't know. I think you're being very harsh, Jay.
No. I'm being microscopically harsh.
Yeah, because I'm usually
it happens in the men's matches as well. No, I'm not trying to nitpick. There's just times when I just kind of look at two people working with each other, regardless of sex, regardless of, and I'm like, now it feels like a dance. Now it feels like you're running through spots.
It was a real signal for the men's roster to sit up and take notice, wasn't it?
Yes,
that's what it really was.
A shot across the bow.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
They weren't there because they were girls. They were there because there was wrestling being done.
Yep.
Yeah,
But this is what I'm saying. The original point was, with the men's industry, everybody's trying to steal each other's spotlight. With the women's industry, it feels like they've all got together and said, let's show those bastards we can do it too. And they're working with each other for a better product.
Yeah.
They're doing what Conor McGregor did in the UFC. They're not here to take part anymore. They're here to take over. And honestly, with those 4 women, like, Jesus Christ, those 2 matches, as I said, the tag matches can go and shite. They were fucking dog shit. Both nights, they were terrible. You know what I mean? But those singles matches.
Yeah, but you got to wet and vet new veterans. You have
and
to.
Joe, don't forget with Becky and Charlotte to come back, and Charlotte is back, as we saw, and then Becky to come back. I mean, you've got.
I don't even think
you've got 6 pieces there, and when I say pieces, please don't be PC and fucking. I'm saying 6 pieces there, as in how you can write the storyline.
You've 7 in. Yeah. You forgot about Bailey.
Oh, do you know? Well, I don't know what they were doing with Bailey on that particular night, but guess what? I have this weird.
They were getting her over as a character.
I have this weird little thing with Bailey, and I have this weird little thing with Bailey. I think she's real cute, and I don't know what it is. I think she's got like a really good. I don't know. I mean, look,
do you know
I like
happens?
her wearing
No.
tights. I like her wearing tights. I'm not gonna lie. But I also like her in the ring, and I also like how she will do.
What stepped away because she's a few divisions ahead of the other 2 ladies who are outside. Look, Becky out, Charlotte out, Bailey doing fucking commentary segments. They're letting that under girl division cook, and it's producing glorious consequences.
Oh yeah,
you don't need Hulk Hogan's of the ladies division. Just smashing all over everything. There's contenders coming forward. We spoke just after the fucking ladies Royal Rumble about how we hoped that the company didn't bury Belair. Did they?
Nope. They're doing better with the women than they are with the men.
We also talked about the Belair rolling over Ripley. We knew she was paid dirt sooner or later. 2 nights at Mania.
Can I say one thing though?
4 months.
I'm thinking
since that last podcast.
Here's food.
Are we wrong, man?
Well, here's food for thought.
Do you think food? I need whiskey.
Well, do you think that they're doing better with the girls than they are with the men purely because there's not much right? So the raw talent is there in front of them. Yeah, the look is there. Like they don't get as much promo time as the men. Still, let's be real.
They clearly don't need it if they can headline.
No, but this is what I'm saying. This is the point I'm making. I'm glad you said that, Jay, because this is where I'm going with. And Niall, I'm going to pass this one to you. Do you think it's a case that it's like we don't need to do much with them? We're going to book these based on their raw talent.
You're going to let him pass something to you when you're the host, son? Hot tag, you're in.
That's no problem. I think
this is my show. I'm only messing.
I think it's I think there's a different level of expectation. And I think because of that level of expectation, I think it's kind of different, you know. I mean, I think they're doing equally as stellar a job with the men, but it's just there's a lot more men. And some fall by the wayside. But I think if you think of what they've done with Drew, if you think about what they've done with Lashley, you know, if you think of what they've done with Edge's comeback, if you think of what they've done with Roman Reigns, you know, I think they've done equally as good a job. But I just think in terms of there's a different level of emotion to the women's matches, isn't there, really, that we get drawn into.
They've done more with less. Yeah. They've done a lot more with a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you think it's more innocent, Niall? That's what I'm asking. Because, like, you, for example, you, out of all of us, you'd be someone that goes back and watches like the old NWA programs religiously. So you're actually following the storylines, like you're following the timelines of like, you know, the early '80s all the way up.
Yeah.
Do you find that there's more of an innocence, as in like they're gonna let these girls breed and like let the story unfold itself without trying too many things? Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? We spoke about Bray Wyatt earlier and how we never get the ending. I think the good job that WWE does with the women's division is they generally 9 times out of 10, unless there's an injury or a freak accident or something like that, they generally give us the ending. And I mean,
they don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah,
Like.
and I don't think, even going into WrestleMania, I think we kind of knew Rhea was going over. I think we kind of knew Belair was probably going to win. We knew it was about their time based on what happened with the Rumble and stuff like that. And we got the payoff that they got the payoff. And I think that's really where I see it. You know what I mean? It's like as you said, Randy Orton could win or Randy Orton could lose, and it wouldn't damage Randy Orton.
Yeah,
I think if Bianca Belair,
if Rhea Ripley hadn't won that night,
or Bianca
damage Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I think it would have had a different sort of effect, and it's probably just because, you know, we've had so much of Randy Orton over so many years. I think if they had put in the time that Randy had put in, I think it would have a different consequence, you know. But I just
the one thing I will say, I rewatched our predictions there a little while ago just so I knew how right and wrong it was going to be. Joe made a very good point when I was watching that, and I was too pissed to realise it when I was in the conversation at the time, that it would have been lovely for Asuka to have her moment, to have her mania.
Yes, I agree with that too.
And he emotionally swayed me, even though logic dictated the young girls, the ones who are putting hard work in, were going over. I honestly see the Ripley Asuka match as her going over as well. It was more of a business decision between the girls. Like I said, there's a unity between the women right now that doesn't happen in the men's locker room. They all want each other to win. And do
you know what it is? Sorry to interrupt you. It's like when we spoke about NXT. It's the Balor and the Pete Dunne match. There's no real loser. Everyone is brought up a level and everyone is brought along. And that's how I see it in the women's division as well.
Well, that's a great point. Though,
yeah, the 4 women came out, 2 top main events, 2 great matches, one full of emotion, one full of layers, and they knocked it out of the park. And I mean, there's no other compliment we could give them. In theory, it was 4 winners. You know?
Well, a whole division won. All the girls coming up under them.
And I just want to say categorically,
Why is he saying no?
Sasha
because Jay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
Best of the best at the moment, in my opinion. And I never thought I would say that. Because I thought early on, like when she had that situation with Paige where she just literally kicked her fucking neck. I never thought she'd done it on purpose, ever, obviously. But I thought she was a little bit sloppy. I thought she had a bit of Seth Rollins in her where she was just sometimes a bit too trigger happy. Do you know what I mean? That's probably the best way of saying the best terminology. Bit
too eager.
Too eager. That's exactly it. Like, you know, an excited fucking child just fucking not knowing her own strength or not knowing her own capabilities or whatever.
She also
I believe she is at this moment in time, she is the boss. Like, I mean, it's a great kind of nickname for her because to me, I believe everything she does. Everything.
She used to also half murder herself in some of the bumps.
She did, and herself, yeah.
But
when you're sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Jay, the reason I was shaking my head that when you said the whole division was brought up, it was brought down with the tag teams. It was fucking muck.
But I think, Joe, that's all washed away.
You've got to give people ring time. No,
it's gone.
On the big show, you've got to give people ring time. You have to wet and vet them. How do you know who's going to be next unless you let them?
No. Look, those 4 women, absolutely, there is no question. Fantastic. Like, as I said, both matches were stellar. I absolutely love from the entrances to the finishes. Love them. Although I wanted Asuka to go over, but you know what I mean.
Me too.
I feel you convinced me with your argument. I originally said Rhea Ripley, and I was disgusted at myself because how much whiskey was in my beard. I was like, fuck. Necro Joe's after convincing me. I want Asuka to have one. I want her moment. But you know what?
I wanted Asuka to win too.
No, you know what? She has won. Everybody who's ever got into the ring with her was better because of being near her. And there'll be a time where she'll be the fucking, you know what? We'd have been nothing without her, and that'll be her belt, and that'll be her moment. And if
I'm sure she wants more.
A whole division. Yeah, listen, no, it's a good time. Like I said, it seems to, personally for me, when I watch these women work together, even Banks, if that was Hogan versus Michaels, you think Banks would have nodded over to her opponent and said, no, that don't work for me.
Stop bringing Hogan into it, will you?
I'm trying to
Hogan never
compare.
held the
Do you
company up
understand the
before he went
comparison
out on a
decision?
SummerSlam.
I'm
There's
trying to
only
make a
one man that
comparison
held the
argument,
company up for
sweetheart.
money. Come on.
Okay, if that had been Macho versus, oh no, wait, not that.
The Warrior held the company up for money before he refused to go out to a match until he got paid. Will you
And he's
stop bringing
right.
Hogan
And
into
he's
it?
right. He's right.
Oh, but Hogan's wrong. Would you stop bringing Hogan up? Come on. Come on.
Anyway,
The Warrior is a very unprofessional human being.
Let's park the conversation.
Have you ever had to pass a belt through Yokozuna? That don't work for me, brother. He wears pink.
Yeah, well, at least he went out and done it.
Look, oh, did he?
Mm-hmm. Come on, Noel.
Right, let's move on. Let's park it there at the level we wanted to with the women's divisions. Absolutely.
Get that
stellar.
shit away from me. One Warrior Nation.
Not anymore.
WCW.
Too sweet.
Right, let's get into this triple threat. Joe.
Yes.
Hold on, no, Noel. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to me, Noel.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
You know me in tag team wrestling, and you've gone past the tag team match. Granted, it was dog shit.
Joe, you're not going to hijack this episode
off,
with another
Joe.
20 minutes talking about a match you didn't give a shit
Fuck
about.
off, Joe.
Leave Joe alone.
No.
He doesn't have the internet in Sligo.
I'd rather you spent the next 20 minutes talking
He's
about...
cycling right now to be online. He's on an exercise bike hooked up to his new laptop. Let him speak for the love of God before he has a heart attack.
I'm cycling behind a bus, Aaron bus, picking up the free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, probably a rope tied to the back of it. Listen here.
The ice cream man is dragging me around.
I'm not going to let you spend the next 20 minutes talking about that tag match and then tell us it was dog shit and you didn't like it. I'd rather you threw Daniel Bryan under the bus. So let's talk about the triple threat and move on. We've given the women their kudos. You're not going to bring it down.
Yeah, come on.
I'm going for a piss.
Go ahead.
But what I will say about that tag match now, before we go, and it is a high note. Shayna Baszler looked very good in that match. She was the only highlight of that bloody match. The rest of them were shit.
She always is.
Yeah, Shayna Baszler is wasted hanging around with Nia Jax. Get her out of there. Put her in the picture. Then you've got 8 brilliant wrestlers that can, fight over the 2 titles if you want. Right. Get her away from that tag team shit.
Right.
Nia Jax is just is dragging her down. Because the highlights of that match were when Shayna kneed Natalya in the face. Where I genuinely expected Natalya to get up and start spitting out teeth. It was that snug. She cracked her. And then the finish as well, when she got her in the what the hell is it? The clutch. What the hell is it called? Her finisher. Whatever the finisher is. I can't think of the name. The Kira Kunif. I don't know what the hell it's called.
Anyway, the main event.
Yeah. But Shayna Baszler is wasted in that tag division. Get her out of it. She's far too good.
I agree. That's the only story that should be told of that match.
Yeah, Shayna's magnificent. Yeah.
Right.
Brilliant.
Now that Jay is gone,
now,
I'm gonna set the preface for this because we have to finish strong. And Joe, you're coming in. I'm gonna build this up for you.
Yeah, Joe.
The main event of WrestleMania. Edge comes back after 11 years, a broken neck. The doctor said no. Computer says no, mate. Then you've got Roman Reigns, the man that they actually pulled the trigger on and turned him heel. The one thing that Vince wouldn't do with John Cena, they did with Roman Reigns. And then they throw Daniel Bryan into the mix for shits and giggles. Triple threat match, main event at WrestleMania for the World's Heavyweight Championship, regardless of what they call it. Joe, start the show.
Joe, acknowledge us. Acknowledge us, Joe.
Come on.
Grace you with my knowledge. Look, it was never going to be bad with those 3 names on the, on the card. Like 3 of them are marvelous at what they do. Brian should never have been thrown into the match. We talked about it last week. Myself and you talked about that now last week. how Daniel Bryan should never have been shoehorned into this match. Granted, Daniel Bryan has to be at Mania, but he didn't need to be shoehorned into this. The build was all there with Edge and Roman. Yeah, and then to throw Daniel Bryan in it was desperation, I think. I don't know what
It wasn't even desperation, Joe. It was just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it really was. Sorry, no.
Stupidity.
Yeah, it was nonsense. Didn't need to be there. Yeah, he didn't need to be there. Now, he was never going to take away from the actual quality of the match.
No.
But he took away from the narrative of the match, if you know what I mean. Like
they should have wheeled down Sister Abigail.
What?
Well, Edge went from being like the comeback kid, you know, and one of the most beautiful stories of like legitimately a man that got his career ended by a doctor saying, no, you can't do this anymore. And then getting injured a second time by tearing his tricep or whatever it was, you know, legitimately, and still comes back from that. And then they push Edge back to being the psychopath again, you know, and they made Edge out to be like, all right, is this guy a face or a heel, or is he just a nut job? Is he a fucking psychopath? You know, has he spent 11 years on Vikings set just actually becoming a Viking? Like, what is it? And also, the gray has gone from his beard. It's all blonde again. He's dyed his beard blonde. Like, what? And by the way, sorry, I'm a big fan of the white gear. I loved Edge's gear too, with the white coat. That needs to be a figure just made. Just a little segue. I'm sure you'll all agree. But Joe, you don't mind me saying that, don't you? Because that's what bringing Daniel Bryan into this mix kind of created, right?
Confusion.
Yeah, absolutely not. You're bang on. There was confusion. As I said, it was never going to take away from the quality of the match because he's too good to do that. But the narrative of that match got destroyed by it being in. There was no need for. Now the match itself. I come down to the match itself. It was absolutely brilliant. You know what I mean? The three of them are fantastic at what they do. I love Roman Reigns now. I used to hate him, and it wasn't because of him, because he always put on really good matches. But it was the way that WWE booked him, and I absolutely love him now.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Did you get do you know when the three guys came out, like their entrances, yeah? You know, obviously Edge came out looking great, you know, full of energy, looking great, gear set up. Roman Reigns comes out with just a little, what do they call the Hawaiian thing? The
LA.
Yeah, right. He came out with that with no top on, and guess what? He looked like the biggest superstar on the planet. Just by walk, and he looked like the boss with the boys behind him. I mean, that's a superstar, right, Joe?
Absolutely. Oh, 110%. He and what I loved is that he took forever to come out.
Yes.
He took ages to come out.
Like the boxer that's kind of playing mind games with the opponent.
You also spoke about this last week, Ian, where Roddy Piper used to stand at the top and just you know, kind of let the crowd fucking feed him or
cook his pop.
Even let the commentators talk about getting him over. Yeah.
But Roman Reigns did that.
Yeah.
By staying backstage for ages. And then when he came out, I think it was Corey Graves said, he goes, even at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns makes you wait.
And guess what? I mean? Corey Graves didn't know that, but that's what Roddy Piper was saying. Even at WrestleMania makes you wait. It was just brilliant. Yeah.
It was fantastic. And like took his time. You know, he was as you said, Ian, he looked like the boss. You know, you had Paul Heyman lovingly looking at the back of his head. And you had,
it's just getting weird, right?
And you had Jay.
I brought this up fucking several episodes ago. He needs to stop looking at him like he wants to have his children. That's fucking weird.
Well, he's been looking at Brock for many a year, so he's probably going, this is a normal head.
No, this is different, Heyman. But sorry.
Then you had Jey Uso being his hype man for the entire way down. I don't know how Jey Uso didn't run out of things to say. He was just constantly just rabbiting and shouting and jumping around.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
It was amazing. And it made Roman Reigns never flinched, just slowly walked down. As you said, Ian, he looked like a boss. He just, I'm here. He was uber confident. I'm going to fucking walk over these two boys. You know, the win is in the bag. He was amazing. And the match itself, as I said, was quality. You know, from start to finish, it was brilliant.
I think it was a great triple threat match. Actually, I think I was on a podcast during the week on shout out to Jonathan on the Wire, Pro Wrestling Defined podcast, and I think I used the word. I thought it was the best. I mean, there hasn't been many triple threat main events at WrestleMania. There's not been a lot, but it was the best triple threat in general that I've seen that had a narrative and a storyline to it, even though there wasn't a narrative and a storyline to it. The only one was that it was for the belt. You know what I mean? But it was the closest thing I've seen to Michaels, H, and Benoit back at WrestleMania 20, Madison Square Garden. And it wasn't, I'm not saying it was at that level. Of course it wasn't. I mean, that was just...
Nothing is.
That was off the charts. But I think this was a very, very good match when you took away the bells and the whistles and all that stuff and the reasoning behind why Daniel Bryan was in there. I think when you just looked at the match for what it was, I think it was a pretty good match. Now, the only thing is, I didn't like, Joe, what do you think? I really didn't like the way they made Edge come across in it.
Yeah, I thought that was weird as well. I see, I don't watch it week to week.
No, me neither. Me neither.
So, but like whole Edge kind of being unhinged and all that kind of crack, I was just it rang quite hollow with me.
Like he was Gary Busey or something.
Yeah, he's got that grizzled old bastard thing going on.
Yeah,
which isn't good.
No, it's like I'm gonna do a concerto on you and a concerto on you. And it's like, and I have to say, I never liked. I'm with Jim Cornette on this. I never liked the concerto. The concerto was good at times when you could actually get a man down in a move and do it straight away. But a lad just lying there for 20 minutes while he's waiting for the concerto is like, that doesn't make sense to me, because he's gonna get his head off the fucking chair because he knows this lunatic outside is gonna come with another chair and smash his skull in. You know what I mean? I just didn't like where they were going with Edge in this one, because I mean, for me, my hope, and I'm not the biggest Edge fan in the world, as we've said before, but I like the guy, but I really wanted him to have his moment here, like, you know what I mean? Not necessarily win the belt from Roman, because I'm a major Roman fan, but at the same time, I want to have his moment where he came so fucking close after 11 years and got so far, but he was just a little bit short this time. Next time he might get him. You know what I mean?
But that would have happened in a singles match.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So the whole Daniel Bryan narrative just got in there because of, I don't know, it must have been the Bellas or something. The fact that the Bellas came out and, oh, by the way, the Bellas just coming out and throwing fucking poor old thing then. Anyway, yeah, so it must have been, I don't know. I just thought it didn't make any sense, Daniel Bryan being there, like the lad half the size of him. And not that matters, Noel. That matters.
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Daniel Bryan was he was quality in the match. There's no doubt.
He was phenomenal in the match.
Yeah.
He was.
And like, but as I said at the start of this, like, it was the narrative that got destroyed rather than the problem. In the actual match. Now, one good thing about having Daniel Bryan in there, it meant that Jey Uso was able to get involved. And I thought he got involved perfectly. And I usually give out about interference, but I thought Jey Uso getting involved was brilliant.
Anybody look at Jey Uso and think he has little shades of Owen Hart when he first came into the company back in '94? You remember when he was like the brother behind Brett, and he was and you knew he was up to no good? I have a feeling that like Jey Uso could be that guy. I don't know. There's something I like about him.
No, the Jey Uso's fantastic. I think he's brilliant, and I loved his involvement in this match. And as I said, I usually give out about outside interference, but I just thought he was brilliant.
Yeah,
I thought he was fantastic, and and the three boys in the ring were all brilliant. I lost my mind when Daniel Bryan did his fucking 2 diving headbutts and in quick succession and all that.
Dude,
kind of crack.
My back actually hurt when I saw those two. I was like, I love you, Daniel. I wish I could do that, but you stop doing it. Your neck is fucked. Stop doing that. I was like, Daniel, stop.
That was one thing I kept saying to myself. I was like, this man had to retire due to concussions, and here he is fucking throwing diving headbutts, and then they have the double submission on Roman fucking Edge throwing fucking
Oh,
nuts
by
at
the
each
way,
other.
Edge gave as good as he
Oh,
got
yeah.
with them. I thought that they were beautiful because Daniel's always going to go with that. But man, I thought Edge's intensity. I mean, to be fair, there's not many that can match Edge for intensity, and I think what he did in the match was awesome. But it was like, are you giving me the rated R superstar now again, Noel? What do you think about that? Because I was like, rated R superstar Edge, or like, am I getting heel or babyface comeback Edge here? Like, what? Again, as you said, confusion.
I found it very hard to buy into this match.
Thank you.
I didn't really like anything about it. I'm a big fan of all three and Jey Uso. But when you derail me on the road to WrestleMania a week or two before, I check out, and that's it.
Yes.
I just can't. I couldn't bring myself back into the match for that reason. I just
made no sense.
It doesn't matter what happens in the match and the moves and the sets and all that kind of stuff. That's all well and good. Listen, we've three very talented guys in there, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? But I just
they bored the tits off me.
The story had already been set. You know, it was the High Chief, the head of the table, acknowledge me versus the comeback kid. 11 years, career should have been over. Back at it again. And then they crowbar in the log chopper. And I just couldn't buy into the match. I hate triple threats at WrestleMania, bar one that you spoke about in. The rest of them, the rest of them I can't stand. I just don't like them. I think it just kills it. It creates confusion. Someone has to sit on their backside, as you said, sitting on the floor waiting to take a concerto all that time and all. I just can't get into it. I just
Noel, let me ask you this question actually, right? Because I heard that as well. I think it was once again we credit Jim Cornette, by the way. We don't take credit on the four.
I'm still waiting to hear from his. I have to admit, I'm still waiting to hear.
We don't take credit for other men's work. No, but Jim Cornette made a great point, which you can find, of course, on YouTube. Like this whole thing, it's like wrestlers have become like, theater actors is like, oh, I'm gonna go out and lie in the ring while you go and you do your turn. It's like back in the day, everyone would be in the fucking ring. What's the problem with lying in the corner on your back selling?
We need to nail this match what it is and for what it was. The finisher of a Mania, a 2-Mania night. For me, it was a fucking letdown.
And who does this lie at? This doesn't lie at any of those performers in the ring, because I know, Jay, you said you didn't find it great, but that again,
it was a spots fest. I mean,
but Noel, Jay, that's because of the fact, and Noel mentioned it there. It's nothing to do with the three lads that were in the ring. It's to do with what they had to fucking create because of creative.
Listen,
once
hijacking the narrative.
Once again, this lies at Vince McMahon's feet. It's his main event.
Let's not put it at his feet.
Yeah, what you mean? What you mean? Let's not put it at Vince's feet. Oh, sorry.
John Laurinaitis what he thought of it, and I interjected, and I haven't.
This is 100% on Vince. This is his fucking baby. This is his main event on the closing night.
Forgive me one second. Hot tag. Yeah. Continue.
It definitely lies at the feet of whoever crowbarred him into the match and bowed down to his demands. Well, ultimately, he's the man at the top. He is the head of the table.
Yeah. So unless I've learned something in the last 10 minutes that Vince doesn't decide what goes and doesn't go anymore,
no, but I mean,
I'm pretty sure it lies at his feet.
But surely they got the agent and the three lads who are, we would call them veterans at this stage. You know what I mean? Surely they must have known that this match was going to create confusion. Surely to God, they must have known that Edge was going to have to flip out at some stage and do what he had to do to pad this kind of thing out and stuff like that and all. And it just, you know what I mean? When I look at a WrestleMania main event, give me a good guy and give me a bad guy. If you want to do a switcheroo,
exactly.
But if you crowbar Daniel Bryan in, it does a disservice to the match. It does a disservice to the main event. It does a disservice to the belt, and it does a disservice to all three competitors.
And it does. And again, I'm sorry, lads. I'm gonna finish this with my like.
Do you get to finish it?
Vince does need to be like fucking filtered in his own way, because 100% he knew that this was happening. He knew that, all right, we're bringing Edge back, blah blah blah. he gave the go ahead for all this. There's nothing that happens on his show on Monday Night fucking Raw that doesn't go by him. So you think on his baby, WrestleMania, he doesn't get to say so on how this narrative goes? Come on.
Yeah, but
we can blame Bruce Pritchard and we can blame whoever we want.
Yeah, but there's also someone has to be politicking for Daniel Bryan to walk up to Vince's door and knock on it and go, we want to inject Daniel Bryan. We have an idea.
They have a big show on telly, don't they?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. You still need someone there. Like Daniel,
there's your answer. There's your answer, Noel. They have a big show on telly. He's on the Bella Twins every week.
Yeah, but
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Well then, does the blame lie with the decision, or does the blame lie with the interjection?
Well, that is a fair point. Now, Noel, I hope you're not being sarcastic there, because I think you're actually agreeing with me on that. It is true, because Daniel Bryan, I mean, there's plenty of guys of Daniel Bryan, not saying of his ilk, but of his size. I mean, there's one down in NXT that's fucking killing it at the moment. That is the best wrestler on the planet. That isn't getting that kind of rub. That could have got that kind of rub that, say, Bad Bunny, which you can find on Wrestlemania on Instagram and Twitter, by the way, just getting my love. But there's a certain man down there that could have got that kind of rub. Do you know what I mean? That wouldn't. But he's not married to a Bella.
Yeah,
but the Bella is kind of a big deal. You know what I mean?
But I'd love to know the conversation. Like, we know Vince is into the big man. He likes the big man. He likes the main events, that, right? So my big concern is, like, at what point does someone knock on his door, if it's John Laurinaitis or Bruce Pritchard or the Bellas or whoever it is, knocks on his door and goes, "Hey Vince, I have an idea. We're going to forget about the head of the table. We're going to forget about the 11-year comeback from the Rated R superstar Edge and the comeback story and the stuff that you've been selling us for the last 3 months on the road to WrestleMania. And we're going to take a sharp left turn here. And guess what we want to do, Vince?
We're going to put a 5'8" in Daniel Bryan.
We want to put the vegan log chopper in, who a year ago or 2 years ago, his career was over. Remember the yes movement, Vince? Remember the reaction it had? This is what we're going to get. This is going to be the best thing ever. And Edge is in the middle of the ring going, am I heel or am I babyface?
But that's exactly it, Noel. It's like, right, we've got two legit 6'3", 6'4" guys in here, built like brick shit. And by the way, Edge's fucking physique looks phenomenal. By the way, I just want to say, shout out to Edge. Good Lord. Yeah. And then we're just...
the best thing about him is his fucking head, that gristle old veteran looking...
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And then we're going to throw in 5'8" Daniel Bryan into the mix.
Sorry.
Who we're going to bill as 210 pounds, but he's really probably about 200. Joe,
go ahead, Joe.
I disagree with you, Niall. I don't think anyone ran up to Vince and knocked on his door and advocated for this. I think what happened was they went, this WrestleMania card is looking good, and then someone said, Daniel Bryan's not on it, and it was panic stations. I was like, where the fuck do we put him? And it was.
I don't believe that.
No, I think that's.
This started at the Royal Rumble, Joe. This started at the Royal Rumble. Didn't
he get squashed by the fucking head of the table after the Elimination Chamber when he won his right to be at Mania and he got squished?
Joe, the last time people cared about Daniel Bryan, he was on the turnbuckle going, yes.
But that's years ago.
Let's be honest here, Joe. We often talk in this podcast about people, their time has come and gone. His time has long come and gone.
They may as well have thrown Rey Mysterio in there because of the Eddie Guerrero kick.
And I can tell you now, Joe, I'm as big a Daniel Bryan fan as anybody. But sometimes there comes a point where you have to turn around and go, this is not a good idea. It doesn't matter that we forgot about him. We've sold a narrative and a storyline here for the last 3 months that the fans have bought into. Reigns is unbelievable. Edge is unbelievable. This guy shouldn't even be sitting in the front row. What the hell is he doing in this match?
No, like, I agree. I don't think he should have been in the match. I've always said that. I said it last week. But
Joe, if your opinion is that someone forgot about him and they went, oh shit, you have to ask yourself, why did they forget about him? Because he's not relevant anymore.
I understand that, but I genuinely think.
What a rush.
But I genuinely think that's what happened.
Joe Bailey hadn't got a match either, and someone didn't go,
Yeah,
we
no,
forgot
look,
about her. Let's throw her into a triple threat with Sasha and Bianca Belair.
No, I would have fucking lost it if they'd done that.
Well, then you should have lost it over Daniel Bryan then.
As I said, no, I'm not happy about him being in the match. Not far from it. But I genuinely, I don't think this was I think this was a last minute plan. It was like, shit, Daniel Bryan needs to be in, has to be at Mania. We have to use
And one of his wives was in the Hall of Fame tonight.
So they shoehorned him into this match.
Exactly.
And because he was going to have to get shoehorned in somewhere. And so this is the match they decided to shoehorn him into.
But his wife was in the Hall of Fame, and Jay's right there. Like, let me ask him. I get fucking, and I'm actually gonna bite back at you, you little pricks now, texting me something.
Whoa!
No, not yous. None of you none of you podmen. None of yous. Talking to the listeners. I get, like, literally, and I've got it a few times here where I've went, oh, no, I swear to God, you're going to get a rant here now, and you're going to get fucking all value for this, right? The amount of people that are texting me going, oh, you're just biased about Finn Balor and your fucking Bray boys. I get this all the time. Oh, and you put them at a level that they're not at. And I'm like, are you fucking actually kidding me? At a level that they're not at? That they're not at? We're talking about an NXT here, where fucking main events, and you're talking about the greatest wrestler on the fucking planet right now, Finn Balor, and the man who I said last week who had the best fucking match of the 2 nights, Jordan Devlin. Yeah, you're right. Wrestling is Bray. Get over it, right?
Yeah, well, Balor stayed on the show next year.
Do not tell me at any year of life that Daniel Bryan was twice the wrestler that Finn Balor was. He never was. And this is no disrespect to Daniel Bryan. I've watched the two of them wrestle, for fuck's sake. I've seen the matches. They're awesome.
But you know the thing about it, Ian? Even as much as we love Finn Balor and we're friends with him and there's a person...
He wouldn't have fit in that match either.
We're not all friends with him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, though. He wouldn't have fit in that match either. But guess what you could have done? You could have brought fucking Finn Balor coming up and had him wrestle Daniel Bryan. Do you know what I mean? There's like easily, even in fact, you know what? If Daniel Bryan wasn't just so fucking, and you know, I don't want to create something here that might not be here, but I think Daniel Bryan is quite fond of the spotlight now because his wife is in it, and he seems to fucking not. It's not like he shies away from the camera on these fucking shows either, you know.
Hall of Family Fame weekend.
Exactly. Daniel Bryan could easily have fucking had Finn Balor retain the title at that and come up and said, I want to go down and challenge Finn Balor, blah, blah. Many different storylines that could have worked because it's all the one company, don't forget. It's not a feeder club anymore. It's not like this is the youth team down there.
I don't know.
Actually, this is the A team down there in terms of how they fucking wrestle.
Listen, we have done 4 nights of watching wrestling this week. And Balor was down in 1. Bella was up in the other.
Exactly. I'll fight any man that tells me that Finn Balor is overrated and not as good as Daniel Bryan. Anyone.
You have to let fella.
I don't think you'll get anyone that would argue with you on that.
No, and I don't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and we're willing to accept that. We're going, okay, Balor will get his time eventually. But essentially, this boils down to politics. It's that there's a hit show with Being the Bellas or whatever the fuck it's called. I've never watched the show, but I always see their little advertisements on Raw or whatever when I watch it. And Daniel Bryan's always happy to be there. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, hey, I'm just playing with my kid. You know, and now he has all this little straight A fucking haircut and all. Like, you know, back in the day when people liked Daniel Bryan was because of the fact that he was like this little donkey boy. You know what I mean? He had the big fucking hair. The hair was all over the place. The beard was all over the place. He didn't give a shit.
He was very good, in fairness.
And it was awesome.
And bringing in his whole fucking ecologically friendly belt. It was all perfect.
It was
awesome.
Again,
but it's 4 years after the fact.
But Noel said that. You know what I mean? And 100% it was great. But guess what happened? He got his moment in the sun and then he got crushed by Kane. Literally 2 weeks later.
But after that event, when he lost, He had to
Because the
crawl into
company
bed with a
knew.
woman who had a Hall of Fame ring. I mean, he won't have one for another few
Exactly.
years.
Yeah, he got in with John. Said, "Hey, John Cena, want to be friends?"
Well, with all due respect, crawling into bed with a woman that has a Hall of Fame ring at this stage in your career should be enough for you. You shouldn't need to interject yourself into the main event of WrestleMania.
I think
Thank
so.
you.
And destroy a
Thank you.
3-month build-up.
Thank you, Noel. I
Thank
think
you.
Noel speaks for
Thank
all
you.
of us wrestling
The
fans. Actually, right?
culmination of WrestleMania should be two men between the bells with the art displayed as opposed to interference and all the rest of the fucking bullshit that goes along with it. I want.
Well, Edge's promo on Daniel Bryan was absolutely apropos, and I thought it was absolutely perfect.
I didn't know, but
And he said it. He goes, "You think that you're better than me, and you think that you love this fucking business more than I do." He goes, and he's 100% right. Edge loves that business. That was the narrative. And the narrative needed to be Edge loses to fucking. And you know what, Joe and Noel, I'm sure you might interject on this. They could have made it out that Edge loses the same way with the same finish, with like Uso coming in, giving him the fucking shit.
I'm sick of
And then it
Jey
doesn't-
Uso interference.
and
I
it
really
doesn't-
am.
But it doesn't hurt Edge. Do you know what I mean? It just makes Reigns a bigger dickhead. You know what I mean? And Reigns can take that heat now. Reigns got those broad shoulders that he's able for that. He's the chief. He's the fucking high chief. It's beautiful. Daniel Bryan being in there, I'm sorry, like it's fucking ridiculous. And
Are we going to talk about the tag though? Not the tag,
No.
the finish.
No.
Draping one man over the other to do a double pin.
Do you know what? I love that. I have to say, I love
didn't.
that. And I thought
didn't.
that really made Reigns out to be a dickhead, because he didn't win it by just his own skills, but B, the fact that he had the balls to do that. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was a great thing.
No, yeah. Listen, if anything, from a ref's perspective, Edge had a 1 count over Reigns's. It was. I see Joe
I'm with
disagreeing.
Ian on that one. I thought that just made Reigns out to be just an absolute dominant badass that he was there. Yeah, I'll stack them up. I'll pin the fucking two of them. So there's no controversy over who won what. I've done it all. I've pinned the pair of them.
We'll see. We'll see. There is controversy going forward. I mean, I love the idea of a Bryan Edge feud. I think if those two men get to wrestle just with each other,
I'd be into that. Yeah.
I would love that series. I would love 3
me too.
months of those two.
Me too.
Wrestling gets the win. With that finish at Mania.
Yeah, no, I think Jay, like the finish at Mania was good. The fact that Daniel Bryan was put in there at all, I think is what's actually pissed you off the most. Like, and I think any finish they would have gone for would have pissed you. You wouldn't have liked because he was in there, and the narrative.
I would like to see a
narrative was
dominant
destroyed.
victor. That's what I'd like to see. A dominant
did.
victor. Did I?
You did.
You did.
Two men draped over each other under the rules of professional wrestling. One had the pin a second before the other climbed on for the pin. The way I see it, if the ref counts 3, another man got 2 before the third.
I know. I know. what you
I'm
mean.
pretty
I know
Am
sure.
I
what you mean.
wrong? Am I wrong?
No.
No, I know. I see where you're coming from.
I do
you're
see where you're coming from too. I mean, I would have liked to see a little bit more dominance from Roman Reigns on that. What do you think, Noel?
I can see where Jay is coming from, but
Yeah,
again,
me too.
Again,
Me
I'm
too.
just sort of like
Good point, Jay.
everything I think about this match just gets overshadowed by the fact that he shouldn't have been in there, and I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't get I can't find a way to get past that, if you like. You know what I mean? And I just checked out. I didn't care about the finish. I didn't care about the match. I didn't, and I should have.
Did it? It was an anticlimax.
Yeah, I didn't care. I just.
I think
was a
Vince
terrible
McMahon,
match.
you fucked up, Vince. You should have fucking. You
And
shouldn't have listened to
And
the
you know
guys.
the worst thing? 3 months of perfect creative work to
I
build
know.
to this match,
I know.
and that just destroyed it.
I do believe it was political. I think it was definitely due to Daniel Bryan's status. I think he was probably.
They don't want to put a belt near Edge, and that's the end of the story.
Well, that's wrong as well, because I mean, a belt should be on Edge. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it should be on him now, but I'm saying if they are thinking of people, Edge should be in the conversation.
No, Vinnie Mac, he has groomed his Khal Drogo so hard that he is not going to let him lose the title. And he's not wrong. I love the Roman work. I don't want to. I don't want to sound.
I agree.
Biased. It should have been a one-on-one. It should have been a fucking highlight spectacle.
But let Edge lose proper then, yeah? Let Edge lose proper.
No,
I think he will end up dropping the belt to Edge. I think Edge, even in his own interviews, Edge said he hasn't come back to make up the numbers. He wants another title run and stuff like that.
I don't think he will.
I think he will.
He will. He will definitely. You'll get it.
You know what? I'll stick a $5 on it.
I'll stick a tenner on with you, Jay, that he wins it at WrestleMania Backlash.
Tenner.
Yeah.
Double or nothing. What was that last time I posted?
We're not doing AEW. Stop.
What was the last tenner hot tag? What was the last tenner for?
CM Punk, WWE or AEW?
Oh, that's a win.
Well, there's nothing.
Double or nothing
CM
on Edge in the next year. I don't think Edge is going to win it. He is so hard on his Khal Drogo reign with fucking Roman Reigns. Nothing's getting past Reigns in the next 2-3 years. I agree with that.
No, I think Edge might get the belt around SummerSlam, and I think they'll figure out a creative way of keeping.
Well, I'm calling that he gets it at the next pay-per-view. I don't see it. Why would you undermine 2 years of bringing one Uso in and fucking he's always wanted Roman. Jay, you're asking questions of why. Why has he done so many of the things that he's done over the years?
Because I see 3 years before.
Well, I've seen 20 years as you have, and he's made the most ridiculous decisions.
Well, I mean, you could go down the road of Jay Uso costing him the belt, and then the turmoil within the family, and then,
there you go.
And then Reigns goes on a mad one, absolutely destroying the family, and then it culminates with our man. Finally, The Rock has come back to sort out the family.
You know what? Finally, the shopkeeper has. And by the way, can we just say, just to interject, just a quick commercial here. If anybody wants Bad Bunny t-shirts, they are being sold on Instagram and, of course, Twitter. And the man to go to is Noel
Randy Rabbit hot toy.
I am with Jay on this. I think
Bad Bunny t-shirts right now.
I think they're talking bollocks, lads. I don't think Edge is getting anywhere near that title. I think it belongs to Roman Reigns.
Well, Joe, I know you can't put a tenner on because you're at the getting that laptop, but I'll throw your tenner in. And I'll keep it for myself when me and Noel win.
He doesn't need to. We'll double or nothing on Joe's money. There's nobody taking that belt off Reigns for the next 2 years.
Noel, there's new tag teams, Noel. It's you and me, and it's Joe and Jay. I like this. There's no J.
There's no chance. There's no chance in the environment they're in at the moment.
Why do I have to be with the guy who's always wrong?
They ain't leaving a belt on anyone for 2 years. That's just not gonna happen.
No, that's not. That's 1994 stuff there now.
Man, listen to me. The hot they've done on Roman's Reigns after his fucking leukemia, after breaking up the Shield and putting him so hard over and giving him this finish at this WrestleMania. You're telling me anybody is going to take the belt off him in the next 2 years?
But you're talking about a man who came back who was a bump away from being paralyzed.
Exactly.
That's practically, that's as big a story.
Whoa. This is another place where kayfabe belongs. You're going to have to give me last Wednesday, I lost my smile. Fuck off. Fuck off. You retire and rest, man. Then you put them back to work.
Oh, would you stop now, Jay?
No, I don't think Edge is getting near that title, lads. I think
no hope.
Jay, you can't tell me they worked the neck injury.
Noel.
I'm not saying they worked the neck injury. I'm saying the man needed to rest, and they rested him, and he was a hot comeback.
By the way,
has he been near a title
new
since?
Hot tags. Boom! It's official. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, used to. That could
Jay,
be your
Jay,
gimmick. That
Jay,
could be your gimmick, lads.
Jay, the industry now is never a 2-year belt run. Edge will get the belt, if not before, but by SummerSlam. And he'll have his moment, and then
Next month he's
it-
getting
So
the
you're
belt.
letting go.
He's
it'll-
You're
getting the
gonna
it'll-
belt.
let him go
WrestleMania
over a
Backlash
year
are
and a
calling it.
half.
That's
You're
where
gonna
he's
let
getting
him
the belt.
go out.
well,
You know
you have to spend time testing the theory of the neck, don't you?
It's not knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk.
Joe, this is what you have as a tag team partner now. I hope you are happy, lads.
I am ecstatic about the possibilities of where we'll go as a
The
tag
endless opportunities.
Forever negative.
Just so our viewers know, this is our demolition powers of pain moment.
Oh, this is true. There is a new, just for anyone that's wondering, the shopkeeper and the dynamo are now the new hot tags in town. And yeah.
Oh, what a flush.
What a
Hey, X-Lax.
But no, I think it's quite clear. I think Niall's right. It's either going to be on a WrestleMania Backlash or it's going to be before SummerSlam. I personally believe it's going to be at WrestleMania Backlash that Edge is going to get the belt. And I think Niall's 100% right that the Usos, especially with Jimmy Uso is coming back now soon. There's going to be a big family feud there where the belt isn't going to matter.
That's lovely.
That story that they're telling.
When you want to read your children's stories to go to sleep, that's very enjoyable.
That's cool. Yeah,
No,
but you're gonna read that. You're gonna read your little boy that. You know that's gonna happen.
The reason I'm thinking SummerSlam is I think they're going to have to take another 3 to 4 months to build up the storyline again between Edge and Roman Reigns after what's happened.
And to make sure that there's no knocks on Daniel Bryan's door anymore.
Yeah. Make sure,
Daniel
Say
Bryan-
something.
make sure
Hey,
the
Joe,
bells don't
we're
get
the new
inducted into the
tags.
SummerSlam
Say
Hall
something
of Fame.
shocking.
Yeah. Why didn't Daniel Bryan retire that night? No, of course he's not retiring. Oh, Vince, I'm threatening retirement, but until you put the belt on me one more time, would you fuck off?
You know what?
Why didn't he
We
just
are
send him
going
there?
into an age of old school, you bitches. Belts are going to be held on waists for a while. We are going to get regular champions doing regular champion things.
Well, Daniel Bryan definitely doesn't deserve the belt. I mean,